is sold out and loud as usual. On an unseasonably mild afternoon, temperatures reaching 60 degrees and a threat of showers today as the troubled Philadelphia Eagles at 2-9 take on the Green Bay Packers, who enter the game with a record of 7 victories and 4 defeats. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton, along with Matt Millen, and right now the Packers are setting their sights on hosting a wild card game right here at Lambeau Field in January, but they will be missing 3 starters today. Wide receiver Robert Brooks will not play, nor will impressive rookie Bonnie Holiday, the defensive end. Also out is quarterback Craig Newsome. But Matt Millen coming back today for the Packers. Dorsey Levens, who has missed 9 games, will play some. Derek Mays will be the 3rd wide receiver, and that's got to be a big boost for a team, despite losing to the Vikings, feeling good about themselves.
Yeah, I would think so. I think the thing about the Green Bay Packers is simple. The worst thing that could happen, happened. They went up with the hottest team in football, the Minnesota Vikings, and they got beat. And guess what? It wasn't so bad. Now they start to get some of their pieces back, like you mentioned. Dorsey Levens, a big piece. And then also more pieces. Tyrone Davis, a guy they didn't even know they had, could make the plays he's making, is big. So I think they feel good about that.
And, of course, they feel they can run the table. The schedule is not all that difficult, including today's game against the Eagles, a team that has averaged less than 9 points a game on offense. They're starting for the first time Coy Detmer, a second-year quarterback, and this has been a woeful offensive team.
Well, it has been, but the good news is defensively they have played well. And basically the same people that they beat this team with last year. And the way they did it with a lot of blitzes and a lot of pressure. And they also won with a Detmer at quarterback last year. Now, Coy Detmer's going to have a lot of pressure on him. He's going to have a lot of blitz. He's going to have to get rid of the ball fast. Can they get that part done? Well, that's why we're going to play this game.
All right, so Coy Detmer with a lot of pressure. Ray Rhodes said he's not adverse to starting a quarterback who has never begun an NFL game as a starting quarterback. And Brett Favre, of course, who has thrown 21 touchdown passes leading the Green Bay Packers. The opening kickoff from Lambeau coming right up. Lambeau Field between the Eagles and the Packers on a cloudy afternoon in Green Bay. Temperature 58 degrees. At the end of November, forecast is for light rain. And right now, here's the way the coin toss went just moments ago. Referee Bob McElwee, and here's how it went.
This gentleman, please call it clearly while the coin is in the air. Heads, he says.
Nobody is going to take any more chances with a head-tail call anymore.
Corey Walker called heads as loud as you could hear it, and the Packers won the toss, and Mike Holmgren's team will get the ball first.
I wonder how many team captains called tails today across the National Football League after Jerome Bettis knew that his tails was not tails.
Ray Rhodes looking for any kind of a win, including a coin toss win. Didn't get it today. Chris Bonial with the opening kickoff, and Roel Preston returning for the Packers. Preston has had a big year, and a big return for Preston beyond the 40-yard line, where Dietrich Gels makes the tackle. That was a 38-yard kickoff return. So the Green Bay Packers getting the ball first. Brett Favre, 46-6 home record. Mighty impressive. The offensive line with Verba, Rivera, Winters, Timmerman, and Dotson. Derek Holmes, the running back. Antonio Freeman, Bill Schrader starting at wide receiver for the injured Robert Brooks. On the first play of the game, Derek Holmes finds an opening and gets close to the first down into Philadelphia territory, where Troy Vincent makes the tackle. A quick start for the Packers against a team that hasn't been that bad defensively. Jefferson, Thomas, Bill Johnson, and Hugh Douglas having a big year. Caldwell, James Willis, and William Thomas are the linebackers, and the secondary together for only the 4th time this year. Vincent and Taylor the corners. Brian Dawkins and Michael Zordich are the safeties. 2nd down and 2 for the Packers on the opening possession. And here's Derek Holmes, and Holmes goes right through the middle of the Eagle line for a first down and a pickup of 8 yards.
A lot of people saying that Brett Favre is having kind of a rough year. I don't see it that way. When I look at the Green Bay Packers this year, I think Favre may be even having his best year. Not statistically, you'll point to the picks, but he's had to do it alone. And he's gotten them to this point basically by himself.
And there's Dorsey Levens, Matt, who has missed 9 games but is slated to play some today. On the play action pass, it's deflected up the middle by the linebacker, Mike Caldwell, intended for the tight end, Mark Shimura. Ligaments in his right knee, and he's in the game as a third wide receiver. 2nd and 10. And the pass out to Derek Holmes. Holmes will be shy by about 4.5 yards as he is stopped by Ike Reese, number 58 for Philadelphia.
You know, Dick, the offense as the last few weeks, Derek Holmes has made a difference. He's given them some hard running inside that they've missed, and it's taken some time for him to pick up this offense. This is kind of a complicated offense. Not so much, you know, run here, run this pattern there. It's the checkoffs and the protections that he's had to learn.
Picked up on trade from the Buffalo Bills by Ron Wolf, who's made several important trades this year. 3rd down and 3 on the rollout, and the pass knocked away by Bobby Taylor, and it was intended for Mark Shimura again. So the Eagles, who have been more than respectable defensively, stop the Green Bay Packers. It'll be 4th down, and Green Bay will go for it.
Interesting, because Favre decided to push the ball down the field. He had the first down in the flat to William Henderson. There was no one there, but he decided to look down and push it.
It'll be 4th down and 3 for the Packers on the Philadelphia 35. Schrader wide to the right, and Freeman lines up left. And
Didn't get it off.
he didn't get it off in time, and you could see that Brett Favre was directing his offense.
72.
And a false start has been
5 yard.
Earl Holmes.
Yeah, they got Earl Holmes in a right tackle. It was interesting. Favre came to the line of scrimmage. Earl Dotson, rather. Came to the line of scrimmage, and the Eagles are playing them in real tight coverage outside.
Let's listen to Favre here. And the false start necessitating a punt on 4th down. Sean Landeta, who has been superb at keeping it inside the 20-yard line, and the Packers try to save it. A flag is down, and another one goes down as it is ruled a touchback pending the penalty. So Bob McElwee will sort this out, and right now the Packer defense starting to come onto the field. And now they're going to come off. No, their defense will stay on, and now the Eagles will have it.
Number 84 on the receiving team. He signaled for a fair catch, and then he blocked. That's personal foul.
Solomon signaling for a fair catch, block.
Well, because once you make that fair catch signal, you're out of it. Basically, you catch the ball, you do nothing. And you can fake it and try to draw the coverage, but you can't hit anybody. Here's what they're going to call right down here on Solomon. He makes the fair catch right there. Now he steps up to try to block McGarrahan, and does. And they catch it. It's a good call by the official.
And this is where it gets really tough for Coy Detmer, starting from the 4-yard line with the crowd noise. Deuce Staley, the running back, brings it out to the 6-yard line in a gain of 2. So Coy Detmer, in his first NFL start, he was a 7th-round draft pick last year, and he has appeared in about 3 games. George Hegeman, the former Cowboy, will start at left guard in the offensive line change today for Philadelphia. Deuce Staley, the chief running back, Irving Fryar and Jeff Graham, the receivers, and Jason Dunn has been more of a target lately at tight end, but this offense only 92 points scored all year. 2nd down and 8, and Detmer
he got him.
Looking to throw, and he had a man open, and that was Jeff Graham, incomplete, and that will bring up 3rd down and 8. Defensively for the Packers, and they have some changes. Vaughn Booker, the former Chief, starting in place of Vonnie Holiday up front at defensive end. Kuntz, Bernardo Harris, and Brian Williams are the linebackers. And shuffling in the secondary, Darren Sharper, the free safety, starting at cornerback. Pat Terrell, the veteran, begins at free safety.
And they went with the double move on Sharper right off the start. He bit hard. A better throw would have been a big play.
Third down and 8-yard line. Deuce Staley carries, and he'll be short by about 5 yards. And the Eagles already looking at punting the ball and giving the Packers good field position. Reggie White, who leads the Philadelphia Eagles and the Packers in all-time sacks, and of course the all-time NFL leader, and told us the other day that he does expect to retire after this season.
Yeah, he said playing like this is making it harder for him to do it.
Tom Hutton will kick, and Roel Preston is back deep. And here is Preston on the run, makes a fine catch and goes out of bounds. But a good spot for the Packers to take over at about the 36-yard line of Philadelphia when we return. 9 games with a broken right fibula and a sprained ankle, and he is expected to get about a half a dozen plays or so today to get back in action. Robert Brooks missing with a strained hamstring, thus Bill Schrader starting in his place. 3 wide receivers as the Packers begin from the Eagle 36. And off to Derek Holmes. And he has found something soft up the middle, Matt, as he picks up about 6 on that play.
You know, probably the best defensive player in the Philadelphia Eagles this year has been Hugh Douglas, number 53, their right defensive end. He's going against a guy who's kind of struggling in Ross Verba. You can see there, he just basically lost his footing.
Here's Holmes again, diving for the first down to the 25-yard line.
Interesting, talking about losing their footing. There was a big discussion on the field prior to the game. Now the Packers are going with the hurry-up offense, which is kind of interesting. They're going to try to eliminate people coming in and out of the lineup.
Here's Derek Holmes again finding an opening. Off right tackle and getting another Green Bay first down to the 13-yard line. William Thomas making the tackle, and they're running against a 7 defensive back alignment that the Eagles are showing.
Yeah, and Mike Holmgren sees that, and he wants that on the field. He says, you keep that there, we'll run right at it. Did this last year against the New England Patriots on a Monday night game, and it worked for them.
From the 14-yard line, and a penalty flag is down. And a delay of game penalty coming up against Green Bay.
Prior to the snap, false start, number 80, offense. 5 yards, first down.
Down and 15 for the Packers. No score. Nearly 5 minutes gone by. Plenty of time for Favre, and his pass again going for Mark Shimura. He has been the early favorite target, but to no avail, incomplete.
Now this is the matchup that I was interested in watching today, because Ross Verba had a rough time last week against John Randall, but he learned his lesson pretty quick because he's able to protect Favre, and Favre has a time. This ball can't be thrown any better. Heck, he just bounced it right off the chin of Mark Shimura.
Packers coming off a loss to the Vikings 28-14. The 14 points were their second lowest point total of the season. Now 2nd and 15. Favre's pass, and again it's in and out of the hands of Shimura, and it appeared, Matt, as if he had a great chance to catch that one.
Well, I mean, it's a great chance if you mean the ball was thrown right to him and he should have caught it, then it's a great chance. But based on the previous catch, you think maybe it wasn't a very good chance. Just beats the linebacker, gets on top. Favre just right where it has to be. That's got to be a touchdown. I don't think Brett Favre was too thrilled about it either.
Mark Shimura has been one of his favorite targets, and he certainly has gone enough to Shimura in this opening quarter. So 3rd down and 15 on the Eagle 19. Again, Favre has time, drills it, and it's intercepted. He threw it away right into the hands of Troy Vincent. And Vincent brings it to the 29-yard line. Only the 5th interception of the year for the Eagles. Here's a flag down at the 30.
Illegal hands to the face. That penalty will be declined. First down.
And it is against the Packers. Illegal hands to the face. Declined. First down, Eagles. Only their 5th interception of the season. And they stop a Green Bay threat. Intercepted for the 18th time this year, and Troy Vincent with his first pick of the year. But Favre, who is second to Steve Young in touchdown passes, has thrown the most interceptions this year. Rare for the Eagles to get a takeaway, but they've got one here. First down on their 28. Irving Fryer in motion, and here's a flea flicker on first down, and the pass is caught. A shoestring catch is made by Irving Fryer for a minimal gain of 3.
You're going to watch what happens with Brett Favre. They're going to try to run it deep in to Derek Mays. Now they're going to play a zone over the top of this, and the ball really just takes off right there right into Troy Vincent. He knew what he had, but he tried to force it into the coverage, and I believe he's probably pretty ticked because he had 6 on the previous play and was dropped.
Second down and 7. Deuce Staley bounces off a defender, and he is going to be corralled finally by Bernardo Harris, and that'll bring up third down and long for the Eagles. They have just been unable to mount any kind of an offense, and going with Coy Detmer today. Bobby Hoying is injured. Rodney Peete, who has a lacerated finger, Matt, would be the backup quarterback.
You know, Dick, the problem is when you set up your offense, you say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is what we do well. You always start with your strength, and then you work from there to take advantage of a defensive weakness. The problem with the Eagles is they don't have anything to start with. There's nothing that they say, this is what we do well.
Third down and 7 on the 31. Detmer, and the pass complete to Jason Dunn, but he can't get away and won't get the first down, and clinging to him was Mike Pryor. An extra back, and it's fourth down, and the Eagles will have to kick it away.
What I knew they would do is they're going to come with a blitz. You can see Leroy Butler to the outside and Reggie White working on Barrett Brooks, and he's just overpowering him. That's what he has to do to free up the outside safety coming up to put pressure on Detmer.
Roel Preston with an impressive kickoff return. Now back to receive the punt from Tom Hutton. And the Eagles are there as they watch it go out of bounds at the 24-yard line. No score here at Lambeau Field. 7:41 remaining in the first quarter.
By First Union, your guide to the financial world. And by Burger King. If you ask us, it just tastes better.
Dick Stockton and Matt Millen in Lambeau Field. The Packers getting set for their third offensive series, beginning from their 24-yard line.
They put Hugh Douglas to the other side this time, trying to get a mismatch if they can.
Derek Holmes, who has found some running room up the middle, picks up 3 yards on first down.
The Eagles' best pass rusher have been Hugh Douglas. And so if he's going to have trouble versus Ross Verba on one side, just start moving him around. You try to find a spot where he's going to be successful, because they have to get some kind of rush on Brett Favre.
Douglas with 12.5 sacks. That's a career high. Came over in a trade from the New York Jets. Second down and 7. This time lining up on the right side. Brett Favre, nowhere to go. Finally flips it out, and Mark Shimura grabs it. He went to Shimura 4 times. Mark dropped a couple, but this time hangs on and picks up 9 for the first down.
Good coverage down the field. Able to take away the deep stuff for Favre, and he has to come back underneath, but only after he bought some time with his legs. Watch Shimura just working underneath against the zone. Now he sees that he's in trouble, and he takes off up inside. That whole thing was set up only because of Favre's feet.
Tyrone Davis, number 81, who has been a touchdown catching machine as of late, as it come in. First down from the 36-yard line. Favre, screen pass out to Derek Holmes, and Holmes gets about 7 or 8 yards on the play. Mike Caldwell, the outside linebacker, brings him down after a pickup of 7.
I like Derek Holmes. I think he gives this offense something they haven't had. He's physical when he runs. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Leroy Horde up in Minnesota. Has that same physical style, the high knee action. Catches the ball out of the backfield pretty well. I was talking to Brett Favre the other day. He said the one thing that they really miss with Dorsey Levens, aside, not so, the running is one thing, but knowing where he is in the passing game and able to dump it off really made a difference.
Second down and 3, and here is Holmes stumbling forward, regains his footing and gets a first down into Philadelphia territory, a gain of 13 yards. And of course, Holmes picking up the slack after Travis Jervey went out and Raymond Harris as well.
And we're talking about Derek Holmes back here, but what we're not talking about is inside. Look at the nice job here by Timmerman and a good job by Earl Dotson, and it just gives you a lane to run right through. Excellent job by Frank Winters as well. Your offensive line's working like that, it's a little bit easier to run.
You mentioned Leroy Horde and what a job he did Thanksgiving Day against
Dallas.
Dallas.
He played great. Yeah, that was very impressive.
From the 44-yard line, the pitch goes to Holmes, trying to change directions. Derek Holmes close to another first down. Zordich, the strong safety, makes the tackle, but a very impressive first quarter for the former Buffalo Bill, Derek Holmes.
A good job by this offensive line.
Dorsey Levens comes back to action. He has missed 9.
Been there before. He's played in big games, but I guarantee he's more nervous right now than any time he's been in his career.
And the point you brought up moments ago as we have the measurement, Brett Favre telling us that I always knew where he was in the passing game. He caught 15 passes in 2 games before he went out with the injury.
And it's knowing Dorsey and Dorsey knowing Favre as well. And it's just a piece of the puzzle that if you take it away, you know it's not there. You have to try to force things down the field to make a play.
No question the Packers have not been the same without Dorsey Levens in the dimension he brings them. So far today, the Packers have rushed for 10 more yards than they rushed last week against the Vikings. So it's 2nd down and 1. They were short on the first down attempt from the 35. Levens in motion, the handoff to William Henderson. And very close for Henderson.
So Dorsey Levens can't wait to get in here to get bumped around a little bit. They send him in motion, and you know he hits nothing. Air ball.
The idea is for him to get hit a little bit.
Swing and a miss. I mean, it wasn't even close. Hey, watch it right here. He's going to go out in motion. He's going to have to block on the outside, but, you know, he blocks nothing. He just, well, I guess that's what you do. First play in. Get your feet a little wet.
But Henderson got the first down, and here is Levens turning the corner. The penalty flag is down, and Levens carries William Thomas all the way to the 20 for the first down, pending the penalty marker. Gain of 14 for Dorsey.
Now you tell me this crowd isn't appreciative that Dorsey Levens has come back.
They're going to bring it back, holding against the Packers.
Had a decent block
Holding,
outside.
number 78, offense, 10 yards, first down.
That's going to be on Ross Verba, the left offensive tackle, and it really kind of negated a nice block. Here he is down here. Negated a nice block on the outside. Now there you can see it right there. He had that left hand. Right here was the good block down the field by Antonio Freeman.
But despite that, the crowd cheering Dorsey Levens with a familiar jaunt off the left side. It'll be first down and 18, back to the 42 of the Eagles. And the give is to Henderson, and Henderson gets about 2. Right now, here's James Brown for an NFL update. JB?
I've been impressed with what he's done.
2nd down and 13. Give is to Dorsey Levens, and Levens gets to the 35-yard line. Will be about 10 or 11 yards shy of the first down. And there's talk about John Gruden. The Philadelphia Eagles sorely miss John Gruden, their former offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I believe that. I think and they tried to bring in Dana Bible. That didn't work out. They went to Bill Musgrave, who's got a good football mind, but he's learning as he's going. I believe the void left by John Gruden was a big one, and I don't think they anticipated that. Maybe not as much as big a void as there was.
3rd down and 11. Derek Holmes is the lone setback. Hard looking to throw, goes underneath, and it's complete to Corey Bradford, who loses the ball out of bounds. And they say the play was blown dead, and it's still Green Bay ball. Corey Bradford fumbling the ball, the rookie from Jackson State, and the official, the line judge, ruling that it is still Green Bay's ball.
Well, he was right there, right down the line. We should get a pretty good shot of it here. The ball pops out. He has to have control inbounds. And that's a good call. His foot was right on the line. The official's right there.
By the defense. 4th down.
That's a good call by the official. He picked the ball up, but his left foot was right on the line when he did it.
That was Al Harris, who did not have control and could not stay in bounds. So Sean Landeta will punt, and Freddie Solomon back deep for the Eagles. With just under 2 minutes remaining in a surprising scoreless first quarter. Landeta trying to keep it in play. The ball bounces, and it's down by the Packers. And Scott McGarrahan makes the play at the 5-yard line. Alert play by the rookie. We'll be right back. Another poor starting position for Coy Detmer. Detmer to throw, and the pass is incomplete. Freddie Solomon was his target.
Let's go back and look at that play by Bradford in the fumble. You can see he's already made the catch right here. There's the fumble. Now watch Harris. Harris is going to come in right, run that back, right there. There's control, and watch the foot. Right there. He stepped right on that spot, and the official was right on top of it. It's a good job by the official.
There's Al Harris, former Tampa Bay Buccaneer. 2nd and 10 for the Eagles. And the give is to Kevin Turner, the fullback, and Turner brings it out for a couple of yards. So Coy Detmer with the pleasure of his first NFL start, beginning from the 4-yard line on one possession, the 5-yard line on this one.
I think the thing for Coy Detmer is he just has to relax. And then they have to get a feel for what Coy Detmer can do. They saw it in practice. They think he can make some plays. Bill Musgrave talking to him prior to the game. He just said the kid's going to make some plays, but we have to get him settled down.
His older brother, Ty Detmer, of course, was a backup for the Packers for 4 years. Now with the 49ers, as you see Detmer calling the timeout.
His coverage by Coombs. Actually, a pretty good catch by Dunn.
You know, we're talking to Mike Holmgren, and he was intent on trying to get after Detmer and the Eagles and get them early. Did not want them to think that they had any hope in the game, and at the end of a quarter they have more than hope, I would think.
I wanted to jump on them and kind of beat them up, get some hits on them. They've not been able to do that. Detmer's gotten rid of the ball relatively quick, and then Musgrave has moved him around a little bit to not let him be a sitting duck.
So Dunn comes off, and Hutton will kick again. Roel Preston back deep with 28 seconds to go in the quarter. That's a good kick. Preston gets clobbered but holds onto it, and it's Mike Caldwell, a loose ball, and the Eagles have it. The second turnover for the Philadelphia Eagles. First an interception, and now a fumble recovery as Mike Caldwell applied the crunching hit on Roel Preston, and a Packer is down.
It's Preston.
It is Preston.
Caldwell just never stops. That model doesn't come with ABS brakes. He just ran right through him.
And Anthony Marshall of the Eagles recovered the ball, but still down is Roel Preston at midfield with 18 seconds to go.
That's one of those hits that's just, you know, it was the perfect hit. He just ran right through him, never stopped his feet. Helmet was in the right position, everything was right, but that's the way this game is. Sometimes you could do everything right, you're still going to get waxed. Watch him. He comes running through, hit him right in the chest, helmet to chest.
You know, Matt, it's amazing how this is such an emotional game that you can be 2-9 and you want to play hard, you want to hit hard, and sometimes you can take the impetus away from a team that is heavily favored.
Oh, absolutely. And it doesn't take much. See, football's a funny game. One play can change a game. You can build off of it. And one game can change a season. I've seen it done where you can trace it all the way back to a specific play.
And the concern right now is for Roel Preston after the tremendous hit And this capacity crowd silenced.
Caldwell never stopped. He just ran right through him, and that's the way you teach it. You teach it to not stop your feet, and you pick a spot beyond the guy and run to the spot. And he did that. And Preston is a guy who will take chances, and he did that. He took an earlier chance in that one great catch on the punt return that he had, and they bought some field position. That time, he bought himself a hit in the chest.
Caldwell has become a starter with the injury to James Darling at linebacker, but has been an important special teams player all season for Philadelphia.
He's talking and moving his legs and moving around, so that's a good sign. It's a lot easier to say that, however, when I'm up here in the booth and he's the one who just got hit in the chest.
And while they tend to roll Preston, let's take a look at he's alive and cheers as Preston gets up.
Atlanta Falcon team just keeps finding ways to win. Small Anderson had himself a big day, and they did it without Chris Chandler. In fact, the Bird came in and threw himself a touchdown.
Right now, let's quickly go to James Brown for an NFL Up Much. The San Francisco 49ers play tomorrow night against the New York Giants at 3Com Park. And, of course, they were hoping a Falcon defeat today would give them a chance to go in for a tie.
Jamal had himself a big day, but that is one ugly dance, that Dirty Bird. Sorry.
First and 10 at the 49-yard line. And a play fake. Here they come, and Detmer goes down. And this was the design against Detmer. Reggie White with his 15th sack of this season. He was tied with Kevin Green of the Panthers, coming in #1 in the league.
Now, they wanted to get pressure, but they were going to try to blitz him. This time they didn't have to. They only came with a 4-man rush. Reggie White working on Barrett Brooks. Barrett Brooks not getting any help. Reggie White got help, however, from the inside on Santana Dotson. And he forced him up, and then he made the sack.
And that'll be the last play of the opening quarter. That is the end of the first quarter. With the score, the Eagles nothing and the Packers nothing. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. And sitting on the bench talking now to the trainer and medical staff of the Packers. Start of the second quarter, no score between the Eagles and the Packers. It'll be second down and 18 for Coy Detmer from the 41-yard line. Kevin Turner is the lone running back. Two tight ends, Dunn and Kasim Cincino. And the handoff, Dietrich Gels on the end around, and it was Brian Williams who was not fooled a bit. Let's take a look at the playoff picture, which is starting to crystallize a bit. In the NFC, the Vikings and Falcons. Falcons, by virtue of their win today, clinching a playoff berth. The 49ers and the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys are the division leaders in the NFC. Packers looking to host a wild card game. And one other team making the playoffs, Arizona losing today. The Saints still in action against Miami today, and the Lions, who have won 3 in a row. Third down and 22. And Detmer getting a rush, and the screen pass to Deuce Staley. Staley still working, and he is finally brought down at the 45-yard line, about 14 yards shy of the first down.
There's one player for the Green Bay Packers that it's always around the football, no matter where it's at in the field, and that's Leroy Butler. He's always there, has great instincts, and plays the ball extremely well.
Fourth down, Tom Hutton will kick, and Bill Schrader goes back to receive the punt with Preston injured. And the left-footed kicker with a line drive effort. Here is Schrader looking for running room, and he's finally stopped at about the 22. Opening minutes of the second quarter, relatively quiet here at Lambeau Field. No score. Come back to Green Bay, early second quarter, no score. Eagles and Packers, ball at the 22-yard line for Green Bay. Derek Holmes with the handoff, and he is tackled by Hugh Douglas. And moments ago, Roel Preston was taken off. He was taken inside to have his ribs x-rayed after that crunching hit by linebacker Mike Caldwell.
Gilbert Brown right there, that massive humanity. getting stretched out. It looks like you're stretching your lower back. I've been there, done that.
Total yards, the Packers approaching 100. The Philadelphia Eagles not yet at 20.
Yeah, but look up here. Nothing on the board.
That's the key one. 2nd and 9. Favre gets hit as he lets go of it, and dropping the pass is Antonio Freeman. And right now, Matt, this offense is out of sync.
They are out of sync. It's a 3rd drop ball. Favre threw an interception, trying to make a play. They've gotten yards, 100 to 15. Who cares? It's nothing to nothing. Guys wide open. It's where it has to be. Dropped.
3rd down and 9, and we had a forecast of light rain, and we have a slight mist now. An overcast but mild in the high 50s. On 3rd down and 9, Brett Favre going deep, and making the catch is Bill Schrader. And Schrader beating Tim McTire, the nickelback, and a 46-yard gain to the 31 of the Eagles.
Well, that whole thing starts with the feet of Brett Favre. His feet take him to where he can set and plant, and his eyes take him to where Schrader has to be, to the middle of the field. And he's working against Bobby Taylor. Bill Schrader can run, and he ran right by Bobby Taylor. Taylor made a mistake by not getting those long arms on him. He's got to get his hands on him.
1st and 10 at the 31. Schrader. And there is Derek Holmes turning the corner, and Holmes is hit by Troy Vincent. And a gain of 7 yards on the play. But Brett Favre, with that completion, only the 3rd player in NFL history to have 7 straight years with 3,000 passing yards. Dan Marino and John Elway are the other 2. Pretty high-flying company for Brett Favre.
And Favre deserves to be there because he's, like I said earlier, this team will go as far as Favre can take them. And to this point, he's taken it to 7 wins.
2nd and 3 from the 24. Derek Holmes. And Holmes may have the 1st down to the 20-yard line. Hugh Douglas in on the play, and it is another Green Bay 1st down.
Derek Holmes is making you rethink that old adage. What does the line make the running back, or the running back make the line? And when you see Derek Holmes in this line now, you say Holmes is making the line because he's given them a little bit of confidence, and he's given them something to chew on, something they haven't had all season.
Holmes will come out, and there you see Dorsey Levens checking in. I'll tell you, Buffalo Bills must have had a pretty deep running back core.
Well, Antoine Smith, he's pretty good. That's the reason they got rid of him, along with Thurman Thomas.
1st down at the 20-yard line, and here is Dorsey Levens, and he is tackled by Hugh Douglas, who has been on several defensive plays thus far for the Eagles, a gain of only 1.
What I like about Hugh Douglas is there's no quitting. Plays hard all the time. Not the biggest guy, about 260 pounds, but he makes up with a lack of size with effort. Hustles all the time. He'll work all game long, and the game means something to him. He'd be on my team any day.
2nd down and 9, even if he wears number 53 for a defensive end. Brett Favre going underneath to Mark Shimura. The pass is caught short of the 1st down by about 3. 5 minutes gone by, 2nd quarter. The Packers have threatened before, only to see an interception thrown by Brett Favre to Troy Vincent. And now they've got a chance to score again.
This crowd is kind of subdued. It's like they're waiting for something to happen. I think they expected a blowout here, and they haven't gotten it.
They might have expected 21-0 by this point. 3rd down and 3, and here is Levens. And he is stopped by Al Wallace. And so Philadelphia Eagles, you've got to give them a lot of credit defensively because the Packers have had the best field position. And now 4th down, Ryan Longwell and the field goal team come in.
Well, we said right at the start, defensively, they've played pretty well. And they've made plays. They haven't packed it in. I mean, they're out here to make something go on, and they're getting that part of their job finished.
33-yard field goal attempt by Ryan Longwell. And Longwell's kick is good. Ryan Longwell, who right now is the most accurate place kicker in Packer history, gives Green Bay a 3-0 lead. Green Bay, the Packers score score and lead 3-0 on Ryan Longwell's 33-yard field goal on a 9-play drive. Longwell will be kicking off, and back deep, Allen Rossum and Corey Walker for the Eagles. Light rain falling here in Green Bay on a cloudy afternoon. Allen Rossum, the Notre Dame rookie, returning from the goal line, leaps over a defender and brings it out to the 30-yard line, where Jeff Thomason makes the tackle. We'll be right back. Eagles ball, trailing the Packers. And the Eagles continue to have their woes offensively. 12 plays, they've gained only 15 yards. They have less than 1 yard per rush and have punted 4 times.
That's 1 1/4 per play. That's not good.
Not getting it done.
That's based on my Hockendackle math background.
And that's not the last time that time will be mentioned.
Thank you very much.
1st and 10 at the 29-yard line, and here's Deuce Staley with the carry and a couple of yards on that play. Bob Kuberski, number 94, has gone into play defensive tackle. Gilbert Brown getting the rest.
2nd and 6 on the 33.
The Philadelphia Eagles offense isn't completely woeful, although the numbers would indicate different. Trey Thomas, their left offensive tackle, has a chance to be pretty darn good.
Number 1 pick from Florida State. 2nd down and 6. And another running play, Deuce Staley and George Kuntz right there. And it'll be 3rd down and about 6.
Dick, if Trey Thomas, 72, if he's going to get better, he's going to have to get better in his run game. Vaughn Booker just puts the head on him. See how he straightens him up? He has him going backwards. That's a win for Vaughn Booker. He stuffed him at the line of scrimmage. Now, this is a big man. He's 6'7", 350. That 6'7" makes playing that left tackle position and getting a little bit lower and good bend of your knees a little more difficult.
But he's a keeper. No question about it. 3rd down and 5. Coy Detmer's pass out in the flat to Graham. It is short of the 1st down, and looks like the Eagles haven't even tried to extend their offense past the sticks. 4th down, and Philadelphia will have to punt for a 5th down.
They didn't even try to. That route makes no sense to me. Why you want to try to run a route 4 yards short is beyond me. And I'm sure obviously he didn't. I hope he didn't want to do that.
Bill Schrader in place of Roel Preston. He was the chief kick returner last year for the Packers. He goes back and fields this on the 16-yard line and steps out of bounds. So the Packers will go on offense again with 7:25 remaining in the 1st half. The difference has been the field goal. And now we see there's a flag down. Penalty flag down at the 45-yard line.
Holding on the receiving team after the ball was kicked. The receiving team will keep the ball after the penalty for their foul. 1st down.
All right.
Timeout.
Penalty on the Pack. Again, we'll be back in a couple of minutes. Green Bay will be moved back to the 16. Field, where the Packers lead the Eagles 3-0, and following the penalty against the Packers, they will start from their 9-yard line, their worst starting position of the game. Difference has been the 33-yard field goal by Ryan Longwell.
And really, Derek Holmes has been the essence of the Packer offense. He's got 75 yards rushing.
He had over 100 against the Giants and then started his 1st game last week against the Vikings. Roll out for Favre. And the pass is caught by Schrader, and Schrader will have the 1st down out of bounds on a pretty nifty crossing pattern. Troy Vincent made the play.
Well, this is really a play of speed. Favre is a lot faster than people think. You can see Schrader on the top side. He has to run past, and Favre waits for him to get there. And once he cleared Michael Zordich, then the ball came out. But it was the feet of Favre to buy the time and the patience of Favre to be able to wait for him to clear Zordich, and then the throw came.
And he has found Schrader now. 2 catches, 68 yards. That last one for 22. Pack 1st down on the 31-yard line. Favre drills it, and the pass is bobbled and caught by Tyrone Davis. Great concentration by Tyrone Davis, and a 1st down to the 30.
Nice protection by the offensive line, allowed Favre to just sit in there. And that ball came out on a line. It wasn't like he kind of just looped it out there. Watch the protection up front. They go with a 3-man rush, so you should have time
Then you have to be able to find the hole of the zone. We talked about Tyrone Davis at the start of the game, about him being a piece of the puzzle that's been missing. You have to decide on how to treat him, like a tight end or a wide receiver.
4 touchdown catches in the last 2 games for Davis. That good for 39 yards. Here's the screen to Derek Holmes, and he gets away from Willis, I believe. Regains his footing, and a great bit of running by Derek Holmes out of bounds inside the 5.
What a nice move by Ron Wolf, the general manager of the Green Bay Packers, to bring him in here. Because they're taking what Derek Holmes can do, and they're riding him right now. You've seen what he can do running the football. The extra bonus they found out is that he catches the ball well and does something with it afterwards. Willis misses the tackle, and then a great piece of footwork down that sideline. Watch this. Get a little bit of a Three Stooges move, and down he goes.
Of course. Gain of 24. The ball is at the 6-yard line, and after a play fake, Favre looking for a target. Fires incomplete. It was intended for Bill Schrader.
That was good coverage on Schrader. They were not going to let Schrader start on the left side, came all the way around. You know, watch him, number 84. This is Antonio Freeman, first of all, in the back of the end zone. He was there. But watch this slot. He's going to come all the way across, and they're going to run with him. They're not going to let him come clean. Nice job of staying away from the end line, and then still stays with it. That's good coverage by Troy Vincent.
There's a penalty on the Philadelphia Eagles, and it'll be 1st and goal for the Green Bay Packers. Illegal contact is the call against the Eagles, so it'll be 1st and goal at the 3 now for Green Bay. Eagles are hurrying up to get another player on the field, and there's confusion on the Eagle defense. Dorsey Levens pushed back, and that's the best defensive play amidst confusion I've ever seen. William Thomas there.
William Thomas did it the way he normally doesn't do it. That's a pretty physical play by William Thomas. He came inside and stuffed William Henderson in the backfield and then made the tackle. That's a real good play. William Thomas is excellent in space outside. He can run. He has good movement. He's not the most physical guy. He really has problems when you go right at him. But that time, he brought his A game.
2nd and goal. The ball is at the 7. And here is Dorsey Levens, gets hit and gets to the 1-yard line. He did not get over. Mike Caldwell brings him down. A 6-yard gain for Dorsey Levens, making his return after missing 9 games. It'll be 3rd and goal.
3rd and goal. Well, they thought about giving Dorsey Levens about half a dozen plays, 7 plays. I think the more they see of him, he looks better to me now than he did in practice the other day.
3rd and goal, the ball at the 1. 2 tight ends for the Packers. Henderson, the blocking back for Levens. And it's going to be a play fake. Flag is down. The pass is caught by Henderson for the touchdown, but there's a penalty.
Well, Favre is signaling 6, so he's convinced it's going to count.
And William Henderson with a rare Lambeau leap for him.
Offside. The defensive end was lined up in the neutral.
The offside penalty against the Eagles declined, and the touchdown. William Henderson on the receiving end of Brett Favre's touchdown pass. And it is 9-0 in favor of the Packers. Ryan Longwell is on to add the extra point. And the kick is good. So with under 4 minutes remaining in the first half, after a scoreless first quarter, the Packers lead it now 10-0.
William Henderson just runs right inside. That's really tough coverage. He goes in. It's a play action right at Dawkins. He's going to whack him. And now you have to find your coverage after you've taken care of the run. Favre sees it before anybody. Almost good defense there by the official. And had Henderson gone a little bit more to his right, but hey, we got a Broadhead. Uh-oh, look out. Broadhead in the stand.
Troy Vincent is the slot. Remember, this is the penalty that they called right there. That's what they're going to call. It's kind of tough unless he's looking in the back of the end zone. That's what they were going to call. Okay.
But what about the broadhead in the stands, Matt?
Well, you have your cheese heads. Now you got your broadheads. And, you know, it's kind of like the things you put on your head are kind of like the things you put on a leash that walk behind you. Sometimes you start looking like the things you put on your head. That guy, you don't look like a block of cheese. Nothing does. Oh, I'll leave that one alone.
Reindeer, kickoff. Brian Longwell and Alan Rawson on the return. Reindeer have horns, and bringing it out is Alan Rawson to the 21-yard line. Well,
we got all kinds here. We got broadheads. We got reindeer antler heads. We got the cheese. We got the brats.
Philadelphia Eagles trailing 10-0, and this crowd has definitely come alive. Coy Detmer with a pass that appeared to have been deflected at the line, or we hope so. It was a dying quail intended for Irving Fryer.
We got to take another shot.
Second down on the 22, and here comes the blitz. It's picked up, and the pass caught by Jason Dunn. And Dunn is short of the first down, tackled by Bernardo Harris after a pickup of 6.
Dick, in this league, it's basically a passing league. If you don't have a quarterback, you have no chance. If you have an average quarterback, then you have to have a running game that you can rely on to set your passing game up. And at this juncture, the Eagles don't have either.
And you got to have the quarterback, and there you see 0 for 5 third down conversions, 3rd and 3, and Detmer's pass, and it is caught.
That's a good tackle
by Irving Fryer, and let's see if he gets enough for the first down.
That's a pretty generous spot. Darren Sharper closing that one real fast.
We're going to have a measurement. Darren Sharper, by the way, who has been the starter at free safety, starting at cornerback, replacing the injured Craig Newsome, who was out with a lacerated knee. Rod Smith, also with a knee injury. He could play, so this team is banged up in the secondary, but against the Eagles, it may not hurt them.
Well, if you're not going to push the ball down the field, it's tough.
And they've got the first down by that much.
I think that was a pretty healthy spot, because Sharper really closed on that catch, and a nice job by Irving Fryer to get it.
Well, you know, the Eagles using Coy Detmer today. He is the 10th different starter at quarterback in the 90s. So if you can't settle on a quarterback who's going to be around a while, you're going to have some long years. It's Randall Cunningham doing wonders for the Vikings these days. On the 32, the pass caught by Graham, and Jeff Graham picks up about 8 as we get down to 2:40 remaining in the second quarter.
Getting some time to throw. They go play action. They're trying to help their quarterback out as much, and they're also trying to help out their offensive line. You go play action. That's a nice job by Trey Thomas. A little bit of hands to the face, but I'll take it for a rook.
Okay, Trey Thomas, he's one to build on. Second down and 3.
I guarantee that by Vaughn Booker coming off had something to do with that little
prior to the snap,
hand placement to the face.
Encroachment, 96 defense. 5 yards, first down.
Mean payback?
No, you're gonna get him. I mean, you say, okay, rookie, you think you got something, I'm gonna give you this. And then you jump the gun and it works against you.
As a result of the penalty, the Eagles will get a first down. They're up to their 44-yard line as the clock ticking down to the 2-minute warning.
Trey Thomas is one big man. He's not a hog either.
He's well sculpted. Eagles with only 2 first downs, 1 on penalty. Coy Detmer has time, goes up top. It's deflected, intended for Jason Dunn downfield. Bernardo Harris and Butler defending. That was the longest attempt by Detmer. Here it is as we're down to the 2-minute warning. Here in the first half, the Packers lead 10-0. Eagles, who have not scored a touchdown in nearly 12 quarters, face a 2nd and 10 on the 44. Detmer, pass complete to Jeff Graham, and Graham gets into Green Bay territory to the 40, and another first down. The Eagles still have 2 timeouts left.
You know, just watching Detmer right here, you can see him kind of getting a little bit of confidence as this thing goes. The faster they move, he can pick his targets out a little quicker.
Their first offensive play in Green Bay territory results in an incompletion. Graham, again the intended receiver, and that'll bring up a 2nd and 10. That is Jason Dunn, who went for that pass and was sandwiched a few moments ago before the 2-minute break, and they're carrying him off. And Cassine Cincino, a rookie from Syracuse, number 89, has replaced him. Second down and 10 on the Green Bay 40. Pressure put on Detmer, and the pass to Kevin Turner, and the fullback gets down to the 27-yard line. It'll be another first down. Clock running with 1:19 to go.
That was a good call. Nice call in anticipating a blitz from that side, and he's able to hit him and pick up another first down.
Gain of 14 yards. By the way, Jason Dunn has a sprained left knee, questionable as to his return. Hand off to Deuce Staley, finding some running room up the middle, and Staley to the 17-yard line. Bernardo Harris and Coy Detmer and the Eagles will use their second timeout. Eagles have been shut out 3 times this year, including a 20-0 blanking to the hands of the Giants last week. Cincino and Chris Fontenot, number 85, the 2 tight ends in there. Detmer with a pump fake and going to the end zone, and the pass intended for Graham and well covered by Darren Sharper, and the pass incomplete.
Detmer's starting to feel pretty good about himself. That was good. They went with a double move. They gave him some time. He tried to hit it to the back of the end zone. Watch Detmer. Here's the pump fake. They try to get him to bite. Nice job up front. There's really no pressure. And then he lays it outside. There's the pump. Sharper did an excellent job of not biting. The ball was thrown very well.
There you see Detmer very much into it. Very nearly had it.
Well, he knows it, too. He's starting to feel good about himself.
11th play of the drive. 3rd down and 1 at the 17. Staley in motion, and the quarterback sneak good enough for the first down with 45 seconds and running.
He's been here before, this kid.
Looks that way.
He's got some poise.
First down for the Eagles as he spikes the ball and stops the clock with 35 seconds. And you know, maybe he's like the old boxing match where he started out with jabs and now all of a sudden throwing some hooks and haymakers as he gets more comfortable.
And I think with a young guy like that, and this offense is looking for anything to grab on. Confidence separates teams, and it separates a young player like that. If you can get any kind of confidence, and Bill Musgrave the same thing. Start to get a little bit of confidence with the guy in the field, start calling games a little bit different.
Second down and 10. Ball is at the 11, and a false start. And that was an obvious one. Barrett Brooks.
We showed Barrett Brooks getting run over by Reggie White earlier in the game. He's given up 1 sack to Reggie.
Prior to the snap, false start, 76, offense.
And that's a malady of Reggie White with the only quarterback sack of the game. So following the 5-yard penalty, 2nd and 15 on the Packers 16-yard line. Detmer looking to get some of those yards back, and the pass is caught up the middle by Graham, and he dives in for the touchdown.
I don't see. Yeah, there it is. That's the first one to a wide receiver all season.
Amazing, Matt. You're right. After 11-plus games, Jeff Graham is the first wide receiver to catch a touchdown pass for the Philadelphia Eagles. In the last 26 games, Graham finally grabs one.
I want you to watch here. Here's my oh my. It's the old hump move, and he just tosses him to the side. Nice job by Beckles to be able to come back and knock him out of the way, which allowed Detmer to step up and find Graham.
Chris Boniol for the extra point, and the kick is blocked. Boniol has the extra point block, and he has had a disappointing year. The Packers will lead 10-6. Boniol missing his 2nd conversion of the year. The Eagles, however, get a touchdown but miss a critical extra point.
but they also gained some confidence. Mayberry battling inside. A nice job of running that crossing route against the zone by Graham, and an excellent effort of getting into the end zone. And then with each completion, Detmer gets more and more confident. He's got to work. That's a bad, ugly dance, whatever that thing was.
More comfortable and more animated as well.
Here comes the block. Bonio never gets that ball up. That thing never had a chance.
Lamont Hollingquest, I think, was in the middle.
Or Von Booker, one of those sixes.
Let's throw Jonathan Brown into it as well.
Sure, why not?
But
the point of that kick, though, Dick, is it never had a chance. That ball came off low.
Bonio used to murder the Eagles when he was with the Dallas Cowboys, but he has fallen on hard times as of late, kicking for Philadelphia. Jeff Graham, meanwhile, with the touchdown catch and a good run after the catch. And Detmer now with 11 of 18 for a touchdown pass. Roel Preston is back on the field for the Green Bay Packers after having rib x-rays. He's back there with Corey Bradford.
I guess that means they were negative.
Here is Preston on the return. And Preston is tackled at the 23. So now he'll hear it from his coaches, right?
Absolutely.
Well, smile and the confidence exude from Coy Detmer. Brett Favre dumps it off to Derek Holmes, and Zordich brings him down, but it is a Green Bay first down. Clock is running, and now Favre calls the timeout, and he gets it.
Derek Holmes looks better in his 44 of Buffalo than that 22 of Green Bay. That 22 makes him look smaller. If he had 44 on him, he looks a little bit like Leroy Hort. I like Leroy Hort. Vikings, they just keep on showing you more and more weapons. They lose one in Jake Reed, and they don't miss a beat. They just keep on coming.
And he does look better in 44, you're right, but he's wearing 22 in honor of the late Elijah Pitts, the great running back for the Packers who played under Vince Lombardi, and the father of Ron Pitts, our colleague at Fox. And a nice gesture there. Derek Holmes, who came over in trade from the Buffalo Bills.
They also have a guy in Buffalo, John Linton, who they're very excited about, a rookie.
11 seconds remaining in the first half. Brett Favre, slingshot, and the pass. Let's see if they call it complete. They do. It is a caught pass by Antonio Freeman, and timeout with 3 seconds remaining. The ball is at the 46-yard line of the Philadelphia Eagles, and they're going to try the Hail Mary, I would believe, now with 3 seconds to go. It's too far for Ryan Longwell to attempt a field goal.
A nice throw by Favre, and a good catch by Freeman going down to get it. That ball was still where it had to be, down low.
But it's been a quiet offensive showing for the Packers in this first half.
Dick, you know, today in one of our Fox games, the Hail Mary worked for Tampa Bay. Threw that one up, got tipped around, and came down.
Let's see if the same good fortune touches the Packers.
Or bad fortune touches the Eagles, depending on your perspective.
Brett Favre fires it up as time runs down, and the ball is deflected, batted away, and a smart play by Bobby Taylor as he made sure no one was going to catch it as he prances into the dressing room. And that is the end of the first half.
Watch Bobby Taylor at the end. That ball's flopping around. It's dangerous. It's dangerous that it could be a score. Freeman went up for a body catch. Bradford tried to keep it alive. Now watch the spike. That's a good job by Taylor, and he just fouls it up by taking it right on into the end zone.
But the Eagles have to feel very good about themselves, trailing by only 4 points, though they did miss an extra point going in to play the Packers at Lambeau Field.
And I think the more important part of that, feeling good about yourself, is Detmer at the end of the half gained some confidence, and you could see him had a little bit of a nervous laugh on the sideline, but felt pretty good about himself.
Halftime, the Packers lead the Eagles 10-6. Fox NFL Sunday will continue with the Visa halftime report after these messages and a word from your local Fox. Philadelphia Eagles by only 10-6 as we get ready for the start of the third quarter. And I hope you're playing along on the internet. This week's You Call It bonus question: which team will have more rushes in the second half? Log on to foxsports.com to play You Call It. And we spare no expense in flying in a pro for Ask the Pros, and today we have flown one in from Hockendackwa, Pennsylvania. Matt Millen is our pro today, and today's question, Matt, comes from Mike Farber in Mifflinville, Pennsylvania. What do the Eagles have to do in the offseason to improve the team?
Oh, boy, we could be here for a while, Mike. I think the biggest thing they're going to have to do is draft well, something they haven't done very well at all. And then you're not going to find a game changer in free agency unless you spend a ton of money. They need too many pieces of the puzzle to spend a lot on one guy. So they have to bring in a couple of different here at the start of this third quarter.
And he'll have a chance to build on that confidence by getting the ball first. Allen Rossum at the goal line, returning for the Eagles. And Rossum is tripped up by Lamont Hollingquist.
We talked about Roy Detmer not throwing the ball down the field. He's just kind of throwing it underneath, and you can see it. Anything. This happened about the second play of the game. Everything else really has been under 20 yards. The majority of it has been under here, under 10.
And taking a look at the quarterback comparison, the Brett Favre, the MVP, Detmer in his first NFL starts. There they are, but Detmer has as many touchdown passes as Brett Favre does after 30 minutes. First down at the 21-yard line. Deuce Staley trying to go outside to his left does, and it looks like he'll get enough for the first down. Leroy Butler finally brings down Staley.
Nice job of running a trap inside, and Staley just bounced it outside. You know, that halftime question they said about what do the Eagles have to do. You know, there's a lot of things in Philadelphia that have to change. And I live back in that Philadelphia area. I've been in all the stadiums in this league. They need a facility badly. That is one dump.
That's really the way to put it. If you've ever been there, here is the draw play to Staley. Deuce Staley finding running room up the middle. And so the Eagles come out running, and Deuce Staley picking up 15 yards this time, with Butler again making the tackle.
Just attacking right at the inside. A nice job of the inside three. Everett working on Gilbert, doing a good job. And then right on the left side, as George Hegeman just getting their bodies on people. They're cutting a swarf in there.
Staley, 25 yards and 2 carries. Came in 9th in the NFC in rushing. This time, however, he gets nothing. And George Kuntz is the first man to hit him. Well, if you're talking about the Eagles and the confidence they have, I have to figure that Mike Holmgren had to chew his team out up and down during halftime with that performance in a game that they figure to win easily.
I know this. He wasn't pleased at the end of the half. Just walking off, he got into a little bit of a verbal tiff with one of the fans, so I know he wasn't pleased going in at halftime.
2nd and 9. Eagles at the 46-yard line, and the pass to midfield caught by Kevin Turner, and that will leave the Eagles about 5 yards shy of a first down.
Dick, it's plain to see that the Eagles' plan in terms of throwing at somebody today was going to be Darren Sharper, because they really haven't tested Tyrone Williams on the other side at all. They had some success inside the 20 in that touchdown versus a zone on a crossing route. But for the most part, whenever they've got any kind of matchups, they've gone towards Sharper.
Tyrone Williams has been really the only healthy cornerback Green Bay has today. 3rd down and 6. Detmer going up the middle, and Deuce Staley makes the catch for the first down and gets away. And it takes 5 Packers to finally bring down Staley at the 20-yard line. An exceptional play covering 29 yards.
And an exceptional play by Detmer to stay inside and be patient. And this is pretty well designed. They're going to let everybody go down the field. Then they're going to take Staley and run him underneath. Now, look, there's no one there. Everybody's matched up in man. You cleared your underneath, and you allow Staley to pick that up. Almost got knocked down by Vaughn Booker. In fact, it was tipped.
Staley will get a breather, and there is Coy Detmer enjoying things. Corey Walker has replaced him, and Walker on the handoff gets inside the 20-yard line. Bernardo Harris brings him down after a pickup of 1. Well, the Eagles coming out in a flash here in the third quarter, and Cincino, the tight end who is filling in for the injured Jason Dunn, who had a sprained left knee, and he's down. So all of a sudden the Eagles are short a tight end. We take a break early here in the third quarter. The field, two tight ends have gone down because of injury. Jason Dunn in the second quarter on this play, Matt.
Just working in the coverage, gets sandwiched between Bernardo Harris and Leroy Butler.
Suffered a sprained left knee and had to be taken out, and now Kasim Cincino, the rookie from Syracuse, hurt.
It's going to be his right knee. Right there, just gets caught under the pile. Fortunately, he was able to bend kind of forward. The human knee was not meant to play football. It just wasn't.
Cincino, who is a nephew of a former heavyweight boxing champion Riddick Bowe, and they're going to take him off. So two tight ends, and that will leave Chris Fontenot playing in his first game. And you mentioned, what do the Eagles have to do? Draft better. Well, here are the Eagles' first round picks in the 90s.
Well, you know, a nothing. There's the question mark right there in Mike Mamula. Jermaine Mayberry is kind of not what he's supposed to be. John Harris is not what he's supposed to be. Really, here's the one guy right here, Trey Thomas. Trey Thomas has a chance to be special. I mean, he has a chance to be what a #1 pick should be.
But you know, you look at the group, and you're right about Thomas, and most people in the league think so, including that fella.
They might draft him. He has a little bit of movement that I haven't seen out here today.
Well, that's my point. They haven't drafted a lot of speed on offense. Very few wide receivers.
They're a squirrely group. You know, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
If he jumps into the stands for Lambeau Leap, I guarantee there's going to be a bunch of women jumping back out.
Well, I'll tell you, even the Eagles can find an acorn somewhere, that's for sure.
But he looks like he's a little bit out of shape and a little on the hefty side. Might be a nose tackle kind of squirrel. How the heck does a squirrel get in here?
Bought a ticket, obviously.
He went up in that tire. Look at that. He's happy. This is bad.
Chris Fontenot, number 85, a rookie from McNeese State. And the Eagles, impressive in their last two drives, going back to the second quarter. James Bostic, number 27, in at running back, just elevated from the practice squad this week. But Kevin Turner drops a pass out of the backfield to bring up third down.
Steve Everett getting up slow. Their center. Say this about this offense. The offensive line that's been struggling against a lot of teams, but today it's been pass blocking pretty well. Really only giving up one sack. Reggie White overpowered Barrett Brooks. Other than that, that offensive line has been playing really well. Barrett Brooks is playing pretty good.
Third down and 9 at the 19-yard line. No one to protect Detmer as Deuce Staley goes out, and the pass juggled and caught by Graham, and a first down. Jeff Graham out of bounds, and a first down inside the 10-yard line, and the Eagles threatening to take a lead, believe it or not, early here in the third quarter.
Same route against a zone that he scored on earlier. Watch, he's just going to come running back underneath. They're running him underneath the zone, and it's tough to see because you're taking your drops with your head looking back off of the guy in front of you and looking back to the quarterback. Then he comes underneath. It's tough.
5 catches for 52 yards for Jeff Graham. First and goal at the 8-yard line. And here is Deuce Staley. Staley gets inside the 5. He has gained about 85 yards, total yards so far in this game. And it'll be second down and goal. The report, by the way, on Kasim Cincino is that he has an injured right ankle, doubtful as to his return. So that leaves Chris Fontenot, number 85, as the only tight end for the Eagles now.
Bill Musgrave's called himself a pretty good game here.
Yes, he is. After a slow start. Second and goal at the 4. Detmer rolling out. pointing. And the pass off the hands of Irving Fryer, incomplete. Brian Williams, the linebacker, was defending him at the goal line.
They took Irving Fryer, lined him up wide, and then tried to get him matched up on a linebacker, but Brian Williams can run. In fact, Ron Wolf was telling me he'd match Brian Williams in a race against any linebacker in the league. And that's saying a lot. There's some guys who can flat out run. Detmer knows he's going to get pushed. He's looking for the flag.
3rd and goal. Detmer's pass, touchdown to Jeff Graham, and the Eagles have taken the lead. Jeff Graham with his 2nd touchdown catch of the game.
Coy Detmer's fired up, Dick. I mean, he's saying something to this Green Bay Packers sideline.
And Ray Rhodes, who has a team that is doing the opposite of quit. They are coming up and raising a notch today against the Packers.
This is nice by Graham. He avoids being hit at the line of scrimmage, scoots underneath, and Detmer sees it right away, and the ball's right there.
Chris Bonio's extra point. His first attempt was blocked earlier, but Coy Detmer with his 2nd touchdown pass to Jeff Graham, and the Philadelphia Eagles now lead the Green Bay Packers 13-10. Lead 13-10, and Coy Detmer hooking up with Jeff Graham for the 2nd time in the game, and this after the Eagles had not had a wide receiver catch a touchdown pass. As you look at the scoring drive, 9 plays, 79 yards, and so wide receiver has caught 2 scoring passes in this game after coming up empty. Roel Preston is back deep. Corey Bradford back him as well, and this one is fielded by Bradford, and Bradford brings it out to the 23-yard line. We'll take a break here. Timeout with 9:49 to go in the 3rd quarter. 17-12, and Coy Detmer, who was named after a football great, Ernie Coy, and he and his son both played at the University of Texas. Ernie Coy Jr. with the New York Giants. Big favorite of Coy Detmer's dad. First down at the 22-yard line. Derek Holmes with the carry off the left side, and he picks up 8 yards.
Dick, I like what Bill Musgrave did. He took Deuce Staley and set him outside and got him locked up inside on a corner, and then he took the wide receiver on the linebacker on the inside. Now, to me, that's a mistake. It's a mistake by the defense. Here's what happens. This is a mistake in a matchup right here. And then Detmer sees it right away. He jumps underneath the coverage and gets his 6.
2nd down and 3 for the Packers, who are on the short end right now. Brett Favre pumping a couple of times, and this pass is ruled caught by Schrader, and Troy Vincent complaining with the officials. He thought that Schrader trapped it.
Oh, now it's incomplete.
And now at first they ruled a complete pass, then they changed it.
The official was right on top of it. The question is whether Schrader gets his hands underneath. Ooh, I don't know. That looks like a catch to me. Got his hands underneath the ball. Joe Vitt, the linebacker coach to the left over here, Ray Rhodes.
A former defensive back who would know about traps like that. 3rd and 3 on the 29. Favre's pass complete. Bill Schrader, and he has been the favorite target today for Brett Favre. That was a gain of 21 yards to midfield.
What a metamorphosis for Bill Schrader. Remember last year they chewed him out on the sideline, took his punt return job away from him. He was hanging on to this team by a thread.
But he's grown up now, according to Mike Holmgren.
And he said he's matured a bunch, and he said he can play. And it's obvious Favre is gaining more and more confidence in him.
3 catches for 89 yards, and on first down, Derek Holmes spins away. Well, he is very impressive today, Matt, and a gain of 7 yards, Greg Jefferson.
He just doesn't stop. He's kind of like your basic whirling dervish. 90 yards rushing. If he gets his first contact, he doesn't quit. His legs keep going. He'll spin. He's always moving forward.
And, of course, Dorsey Levens returning to action, has played a number of plays so far in this game. 6 carries to be exact in the first half. 2nd and 4. And again, they go to Barrett Holmes, finds running room, and Holmes finally brought down by Allen Rossum. A first down, 12 more, and he is over 100 for the game.
Not exceedingly fast, but his combination of patience and vision, and then that ability to just not stop. He just keeps on going. Really, that's an excellent pick by Ron Wolf. That's as good as it gets.
Well, he traded for him. He traded for Vaughn Booker, and he also traded for Tyrell Davis. Everyone talks about drafts and free agents. What about Ron Wolf's trades? To Lambeau Field, the Green Bay Packers moving the ball, have a first down on the Eagle 33. William Thomas on the sideline, replaced by Ike Reese at outside linebacker. Play fake. Favre kills it, and it's caught by Antonio Freeman, and Freeman will score. Touchdown, Packers.
What a rope. That was a rope. And a bad job on the end by Corey Walker. I don't know what he was trying to tackle. Wasn't trying to tackle anything. Freeman came open. Favre had the time, stepped out. I mean, he threw a Favre pass. Watch on the outside. He comes clean to the inside. There it is. Bang. Now watch Walker at the end. That was Troy Vincent, 23. I'm sorry.
Here's Ryan Longwell with the extra point, and the Packers regain the lead as Brett Favre finds Antonio Freeman, who makes his 9th touchdown catch of the year. It's 17-13 Packers. Regaining the lead to the tune of 17-13 with 7:09 remaining. Brett Favre with an impressive bullet to Antonio Freeman to cap a 6-play, 78-yard drive. 33 yards on the pass. Here's Allen Rossum returning Longwell's kick. And he gets it to the 25-yard line.
I'm going to watch the throw by Favre, which is a bullet. And then he remembers what Detmer did to his bench. And now he's going over to Detmer to let him know what the big boys and how they play. And he's calling them out.
He's fired up.
He was fired up. He wasn't going to let that thing go. He takes it to the sideline. Knows there's something to build on. Well, up for that stuff he's going.
You didn't know if the Packers were going to get fired up against the Eagles. And look at Favre. He's having a good time. Eagles with a first down on the 25. Crowd very much into this one. Boy Detmer, and the pass to Kevin Turner complete. Gain of about 7 yards with Bernardo Harris covering.
Coy Detmer just looks like he relaxed and like he knows what he wants to do. The Green Bay Packers have backed off from the blitzing and the stuff early in the game. They're not getting there with a 4-man rush. Detmer, the longer this game goes, I can see, I mean, you could see him growing up right in front of it.
2nd down and 3. The pitch to Deuce Staley cuts inside, and Staley close to the first down. There may be a fumble on the play, but they say the play was blown down, dead. And we have another injured player, and that one will be Santana Dotson. So now a timeout. Santana Dotson is shaken up. Play was blown dead after Deuce Staley obviously had lost possession, and a good call as he was down before the ball came out. His knees were down. It has been an emotional day, Matt, as we have chronicled for Coy Detmer, making his first NFL start after a couple of mop-up appearances this year. 2nd year from Colorado.
Well, and with each completion,
Santana Dotson ran off the field on his own power. Bob Kaburski has replaced him. 3rd down and 1 on the Eagle 34. Tough to hear for Detmer. And his pass is caught for the first down. Freddie Solomon. And you talk about how tough it is to hear. And that was a refrain we heard from Brett Favre when the Packers had to play at the Metrodome last week.
I'm just watching Detmer. I'm impressed here.
because he knows what he has to do. He checked at the line of scrimmage, saw the coverage, ball's coming out quick. He's turning around, and Trey Thomas is pointing down, he's pointing back like, hey, we can do this.
Well, they got to start believing they can. Inside handoff, Deuce Staley. George Kuntz among others, and a pickup of about 6.
And that's just your basic scrum, and Deuce Staley coming out the other side. Deuce Staley's gotten it going too. When you have some help. Now Detmer's given them a dimension they haven't had all season long. You have to honor that, and then Deuce Staley becomes that much more effective.
This is Koy Detmer's first start since the Holiday Bowl back in 1996 when he led Colorado over the University of Washington. So it's been a while. 2nd down and 4. Detmer going deep. Incomplete. Fryer covered downfield by Tyrone Williams and Cantero.
Since the beginning of the game when he tried that double move.
But here's Detmer, who led the Eagles to 5 straight 3rd down conversions. Needs 4 yards here. And the pass out to Solomon. 1st down, Philadelphia. Flag is down as Solomon is tackled by Tyrone Williams. Enough for the 1st down, but a penalty.
I like what Bill Musgrave's doing here.
It's against the Eagles.
Offensive pass interference.
Offensive pass interference, number 85. 10-yard penalty.
That was the tight end, Chris Fontenot.
3rd down.
So that nullifies the 1st down and will bring the ball back. Those are the penalties that you look at after the game when you lose a close one.
Well, and they're penalties of a non-experienced player. And if that's a penalty, then I'm giving you more penalties up here in the course of this game, because that was a pathetic call.
I noticed that. You're right. You didn't touch anyone. 3rd and 14. 3-man rush. With a blitz. Detmer's pass, and it's knocked away. Mike Pryor makes the play. Chris Fontenot, the tight end who had just committed the penalty, and so instead of the 1st down penalty, it's 4th down and a punt.
You tell me if Brett Favre is into this game. He knows what's going on, and he can feel it. And he also sees what Detmer has going. He's into it. I like to see that. You play 60 minutes, you play as hard on the sideline as you do in the game.
Tom Hutton's punt, and Roel Preston calling for the fair catch. It takes a Green Bay roll up toward the 35-yard line. Next week on Fox NFL Sunday, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman and the NFC East leading Cowboys head to New Orleans for a quarter in their game in Miami. Arizona lost today, so they're 6-6, and there's a battle royal going on for the final wild card spot in the NFC. Packers ball, 1st down. Derek Holmes dies for about 3.
Been a pretty quiet day for pass rushing and pressure on quarterbacks. When they've blitzed Detmer early, they had him a little bit out of sync, but since that time, he's been able to read it and come out real quick with the ball. Favre, on the other hand, really hasn't been pressured all game long.
No, he hasn't. No sacks. 2nd down and 6. Schrader in motion. And the pass incomplete. Antonio Freeman claiming he was interfered with. Brian Dawkins, the free safety, defending. And Favre is complaining.
Marco Rivera getting up slow and kind of hobbling around in there. Watch him working against Dawkins. To me, see, you let those guys play. As long as they're not pulling them down and yanking them, let them play.
And Tanner Dotson has a strained right shoulder, the word on him. Dorsey Levens checking in. He's the lone setback on 3rd and 6. Favre's pass is caught by Freeman, And Antonio Freeman gets a few extra yards out of it into Philadelphia territory. And a first down, and a gain of 16.
Dick, what's impressive about Brett Favre is the same ability that Joe Montana and all the great ones have. It's where they throw the football. See, they throw it in a spot which allows your receiver to run with it. It's not like they're coming back to the other side. And then a nice stiff arm there by Antonio Freeman into the face of Bobby Taylor.
Handoff and a fake and a pass, and it's caught. It's caught by Mark Shimura and a gain of about 9 yards. Joe Andruzzi has replaced Marco Rivera at left guard up front for the Packers.
I believe Favre throws different balls for different guys. Shimura, he likes to throw to the chest area so that he can kind of cradle it in. He'll throw a rope in there to Shimura when he can.
Shimura dropped a couple of passes early in the game. Second down and 1. And the give to Dorsey Levens. Flag is down. Levens dives for what would be a first down for the Packers. And this will be brought back, holding against the Pack.
It's 2 nice runs that Dorsey Levens had.
Holding, number 63, offense.
And it's Adam Timmerman, the right guard.
Adam Timmerman right here. He's blocking down. It's not so much a hold as it is just a kind of a hug, you know.
Is there a sign for the hug on the penalty?
No, there's no sign for the hug. But you can see it right in front of him. Look at this right here. Yeah, that I'd say that's a little bit of a hug. You got to call that one.
Second down and 11, back to the Eagle 47. There's the penalty story today. 3 wide receivers for Favre, and Favre is going deep, and he had both Schrader and Freeman in the same neighborhood. That one was headed for Schrader, incomplete, covered by Brian Dawkins and Tim McTire.
Kind of not enough on it, and if it is going to be one of those balls like Randall Cunningham throws, it has to hang more than this and allow your receiver to come back and get the ball. He's saying pick up, pick up, pick up.
This is not a happy day for Mike Holmgren, with his team leading by only 4 with 1:42 to go in the third. Third down and 11. 4 wideouts this time for Brett Favre, and he finds one of them. And the pass is caught by Derek Mays, returning to action today, but short by a yard. It appears that he's shy by 1.
They're going to go for it. If it's up to Brett Favre, they're going to go for it. Andy Reid has already sent his group on the field. Thomason checks in. Derek Holmes checks in. William Henderson checks in. That's time to bring your big boy pads if you're the Philadelphia Eagles. This is one of those plays that can change things around.
4th down and 1 at the 37 of Philadelphia, and the Eagles call a timeout. And a smart timeout on a critical down with 1:26 showing in the third. Let's see if they...
Well, Hugh Douglas wasn't going to get off the field, and Favre got him right to the line of scrimmage.
So they would have been called for too many men.
Right. Out of the way. Made sure he got the timeout because he doesn't want to waste this right here. With $1:26 to go. 4th down. They stop him here. They can gain something.
And the penalty would have given the Packers a first down. So, again, 4th and 1. And they go to Derek Holmes. And it's going to be close, and the Eagles may have held him. Derek Holmes tried to go over with a second effort, and James Willis was right in the pack, and it appears the Eagles have held. We are going to have a measurement, I believe.
That always impresses me. You find out the toughness of your team in short yardage and goal line situations. The Philadelphia Eagles are playing like the Philadelphia Eagles.
They're playing like a team that was a playoff contender and was in the playoffs 3 and 4 years ago.
Yeah, they stuffed them. They stuffed. In fact, I think they may even have lost some yardage on that one. That's how good they played.
I agree with you. Lost about a half a yard. Willis amongst many Eagle defenders right in there.
It all starts up front. Nice job inside by Hollis Thomas. Excellent job right here on that backer. That's Caldwell, 56.
You got to take off. That's outstanding, and Wills is right there to clean up.
The Eagles take over on downs, holding the Packers on 4th and 1. First down on their 37-yard line. Detmer's pass incomplete. Turner, the intended receiver. So we have 1 minute and 9 seconds to go. And Coy Detmer, in his first NFL start in just his 2nd year in the league, has the Eagles in the game on the road against the Green Bay Packers, in a game that the Packers need. They're looking to roll the table, win their last 5, and be strong going in as a wild card. 2nd and 10. A handoff to Deuce Staley. Pickup of 2.
Rick Sherman, the defensive coordinator for the Packers, who's really he's kind of pulled back on his blitz package, and when they have blitzed here in the 2nd half, the Eagles have picked it up. Detmer's been right on top of it.
Dietrich Gels, number 83, a speedy wide receiver, is in there for the Eagles on 3rd and 8. Coy Detmer giving ground, looking for a receiver, and his pass tipped incomplete, intended for Gels. And that'll bring up 4th down. It was Tyrone Williams defending on the play, and so the Eagles will have to kick with under a half a minute remaining in the 3rd quarter.
Dick, I know they didn't get the first down there, but the Eagles look like a completely different team than I watched against the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night a few weeks ago. And completely different than I watched last week on tape against the New York Giants.
But they were shut out 20-0. Roel Preston is back deep to receive Tom Hutton's kick. He does, and is corralled out of bounds. The Packers are looking for a late hit and a flag. Anthony Marshall made the play and explains to Preston. 17 seconds remaining. There is a flag, however.
Well, they picked it up.
Yes. Always good to see. "17 seconds remaining, and the Packers on their 31-yard line.
Ball on the 31, first down.
Brett Favre with a touchdown pass today to Antonio Freeman. Threw one to William Henderson as well. 1st and 10 at the 31. Play fake and a rollout. And this pass to Freeman incomplete as he's hit hard by Michael Zordich. And incomplete is the call with 12 seconds on the clock.
Favre was looking down the field. He had Schrader on Vincent. Pushed him up the sideline in a cover 2. Safety can't get over there. He throws it back to the inside. Now, the one thing about Michael Zordich, he's not the fastest guy in the world, but he will knock you stiff. And he's one of those guys who doesn't make any mistakes.
And he has survived in the league because of that style.
Yes, he has. And he's played well. Every place he's gone, he's played well.
2nd down and 10 at the 31. Derek Holmes spinning away, but he won't get away from William Thomas, and that will run the clock down. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score: the Packers 17, the Eagles 13. Fox NFL Sunday will continue after a word from your local Fox station. 9, who have been shut out 3 times this season. Here the Eagles hang in. Packers with a 3rd down and 6 on their 35-yard line. Favre's pass to Schrader. He's got it. 1st down. Play made by Troy Vincent as Schrader picks up 17 and gets into Philadelphia territory.
Nice read by Brett Favre. Checked it at the line of scrimmage, saw that he had man coverage to the outside, and then he's going to go to the one receiver he's the fastest receiver. Schrader just beats him to the inside, Troy Vincent. Favre puts it right where it has to be, and he goes over 100 yards, I believe, on that catch.
Big day for Schrader. Caught 7 passes for 93 yards last week against Minnesota. Here's the handoff. Derek Holmes. Flag down. Holmes has 100 yards rushing today for the 3rd time in his career. And this will be a holding penalty against Packers.
Bill Johnson kind of run off a little bit of pain right there. Everybody deals with
Holding,
pain a little different.
number 70, offense, 10 yards, first
Joe
down.
Andruzzi is in for Marco Rivera,
who is out with bruised knee.
right here, number 70. And it's more of a tackle than a hold.
Brandon Whiting has gone in for Johnson. Packers have turned it over twice. Detmer, very impressive in his NFL starting debut. Favre with 2 touchdown passes, and Derek Holmes over 100 yards rushing. First down and 20. The screen pass to Derek Holmes, but William Thomas slows him up. And finally, he's brought down by Hollis Thomas after a short gain.
Derek Holmes is strong. William Thomas read that perfectly. The best way to take away your screens underneath is to jump your coverage. William Thomas read it perfectly, ran right through the middle. And this should be a tackle for a loss. But watch the strength of Holmes and the balance. Kind of shrugs him to the side. There's one. There's a second one that gets by. And then Hollis Thomas has to finally finish it off.
Not easy to bring down Derek Holmes, who has been a fine addition on the day that Dorsey Levens returned to the Packers. 2nd and 17. Schrader and Mays are the wide receivers for Brett Favre. He drills it for Schrader, and it's intercepted. Tim McTire returning for the Eagles. And McTire brings it down to the 45-yard line. The second interception of the game by Brett Favre, as the Eagles, who had only 4 picks coming in, have 2 more today, and their defense gives them a chance again.
He tried to trust his arm in this one. Bad decision. Completely tried to strong arm it in.
Have the ball on their 43-yard line. Boy Detmer getting the pressure and the screen pass out to Kevin Turner. And Turner may have a first down for the Eagles.
What Brett Favre didn't see was McTire to the middle of the field. He was locked on Schrader, trying to hit the deep end. McTire is hanging up here. Does a nice job of staying to the middle of the field, and Favre never really sees it. Favre tried to muscle that in and knew he took a chance he shouldn't have taken.
19 interceptions thrown by Brett Favre this year. It is a first down for the Eagles, and here is Deuce Staley looking for something. And nothing there as he is pushed back by Williams. And right now, let's go to James Brown for an NFL.
Since Bobby Hebert.
No question about it. 2nd down and 9, and the pass to Jeff Graham, and a penalty marker down, and the penalty will be against the Eagles.
False start, 85.
False
offense.
start against Chris Fontenot, the tight end, who's been involved on a couple of penalties today, but Fontenot in his first NFL action at the line of scrimmage.
Well, and that's indicative of a guy who hasn't played much at all. And sometimes the game gets bigger than the player. And he's learning, and he's kind of feeling it as he goes. You just don't want him to learn right here. You know, Terry Bradshaw mentioned 100 some more than what he threw. But I think the point to remember there is this is a completely different game now than when Terry played. Not even close.
And also he had a different offense than what Marino had.
It's just a passing league now. It wasn't a passing league then.
2nd down and 14, back to midfield. Detmer gets protection, and the pass is complete to Deuce Staley. Stiffs arm a defender. It was Terrell, and close to a first down, and a late flag is thrown from downfield. Let's see if we have a face mask.
I am really impressed with Bill Musgrave, who is calling these plays. He's got a rhythm going.
15-yard face mask foul.
15 yards, just like a 49er offensive coordinator would.
He got his first start on this very field when he played for Denver. And there's the face mask, and it's a 15-yarder. Bill Musgrave got his very first NFL start on this field against the Green Bay Packers when he was playing for the Denver Broncos, and they got spanked in that game. Bill Musgrave's always been a very smart player, and he's young. I mean, they just shoved him into this role, and he's responding. He's got some ideas. He's got a good football mind.
Well, the Eagles look rejuvenated today offensively. First down, and the handoff is to Deuce Staley, and a yard, that's all for Deuce Staley.
Nice job by Santana. Dots it inside, and he also brought a blitz from the outside. McGarrahan came. So Fritz Shermer gets into the battle of wits here with Bill Musgrave.
How difficult is it for Musgrave to call the plays from the field instead of being upstairs?
Yeah, that's kind of surprising me. He's relying on somebody else's eyes upstairs. You can see he's holding the pictures underneath of the pre-snap reads.
2nd down and 10. Solomon in motion. Detmer swings it out, this time to Deuce Staley. And Staley is tackled at the 16-yard line by Keith McKenzie. I'll tell you, Coy Detmer knows how, when his primary receiver isn't there, to go another way.
He's got poise. That's something Philadelphia fans haven't seen in a long time. Watch this. He's looking down the field. The most impressive thing, he looks to the right, nothing's there. Looks left, nothing there. Hey, I know where my outlet is. Bang, here it comes out to the left. When I see that, to me, that says you played basketball and you were a pretty good point guard.
Which he was. 3rd down and 5 on the 16. And a penalty marker down before the play. It'll be...
Detmer's feeling pretty good about himself.
Prior to the snap, 76.
False start. Ball against
start.
Barrett Brooks, who started the day in place of Richard Cooper, who had the virus. That's why Cooper couldn't start.
Ray Rhodes. Ray Rhodes knows he has this team, the Green Bay Packers, right where he wants them. He found himself a quarterback that can do things that they haven't been able to do all season. I mean, it is like night and day with Bobby Hoying and Coy Detmer. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Ray Rhodes was a defensive coordinator 2 years under Mike Holmgren here. Third down and 10. Detmer's pass to Deuce Staley, and he's tackled by Bernardo Harris. But that will set up the field goal try. 4th down. And Chris Bonio, who's been struggling as of late, will be coming in to try to bring the Eagles to within 1.
Remember, that coming within 1 was a missed extra point. That should say 14 up top. It says 13 because of Shanklin.
34-yard field goal attempt by Bonio. And Chris Bonio's kick is good. But that extra point block, as you mentioned, Matt, still looms large as the Packers lead cut to 1, 17-16.
On the sideline, taking control. This is his team. He wants it run his way. I can't tell you how impressed I am with the young quarterback. You rarely see this.
You know, Matt, when we talked to him last night, he was a very quiet, shy.
He was as nervous as could be. He didn't even know what to say to us. But I know this. He speaks football language. I like that. Kid's got some chutzpah.
Well, he's a Jekyll Hyde. You know, when he's not on the field, he's very quiet, unassuming. On the football field, he's a terror in a good way.
Well, see, when he's on the field, he's competitive, and it means that this game means something to him.
Thanks for using that word chutzpah, too. Here is Roel Preston on the return on the kickoff, and he walks out of bounds.
Was it right?
Yeah, you were right.
I know these things.
You just pronounced it right.
He's feeling good about himself.
We'll be right back to Lambeau. 16 to score with 8.5 minutes to go in the 4th.
Now you got some Packer fans, but
and an Eagle fan right there.
Yeah, and you got your Teamsters Philly man. I guarantee those Philly Teamsters think they can take every one of these Packer guys. You know that 60,001. I like my odds.
And he lets everyone know that he is one.
I grew up back there. I know that area. They should be proud of the way this Philadelphia Eagle team is playing right now. Give him a wedgie, Reggie. Reggie hasn't given him any wedgies today. Philadelphia Eagle offensive line has done a pretty solid job.
Hey, this crowd a little nervous with anticipation. This game a lot closer than they had anticipated. 1-point lead for the Packers. They have the ball on the 27-yard line. Tyrone Davis in motion to the right. Brett Favre takes off and picks up about 4 yards. Let's go back earlier to the missed extra point, the block by Chris Boniel, and it was Vaughn Booker who got a hand on it, and that miss has been the difference in this game. A 1-point lead for Green Bay.
Tyrone Davis is in the Packers offense. When he's in there, he presents problems to your defense.
There's Booker waiting for his turn again. 2nd down and 6. Derek Holmes with the running play, and he's tackled by Willis from behind, about 2 yards short of the first down.
When Tyrone Davis is in there, what happens is you have to decide how you're going to treat him. He's a wide receiver turned tight end, so he knows how to work at defensive back and run good routes. He's got excellent speed. So if you match him up on a linebacker or a strong safety who doesn't run well like Zordich, you have a mismatch.
It'll be 3rd down and 2. Derek Holmes with 111 yards, and Hugh Douglas.
Another big down here for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Douglas on the sideline. Ball is at the 35. And there's Schrader again on the receiving end. Boy, he has found open spaces today. Bill Schrader, and a gain of 22 yards.
Nice job of going the play action, and they make everybody bite inside, and then Troy Vincent is hanging way to the middle of the field. It looked like it was his coverage. They had people at the line of scrimmage. And Favre saw it right away. He had William Henderson for the sure first down underneath, but he decided to take it deep because there was no coverage.
Schrader has 5 receptions for 128 yards. Packers on the Eagle 43. Here's Derek Holmes having a big day. And another big run, getting about 7. Bill Johnson, who came out before, back in there making the stop on hold. Favre today has thrown for 321 yards, his 20th career 300-yard passing game, and for the 7th straight year going over 3,000 yards, something only Dan Marino and John Elway had ever done. An Eagle is shaken up 17-16. Antonio Freeman has been out the last several series. X-rays are being taken on his jaw.
2nd and 3.
So it's Corey Bradford, the rookie, number 85, with Derek Mays, and Bill Schrader, the wide receiver. 2nd down and 3. Hand off to Derek Holmes. 1st down. And welcome to Lambeau Field in Green Bay. A different setting than people expected on a sellout day at Lambeau Field. The Philadelphia Eagles battling the Green Bay Packers for all they're worth. 3 turnovers by the Packers. Sensational start for Coy Detmer, who's kept the Eagles in the game in his first NFL start. Brett Favre with his 20th career 300-yard game. Dick Stockton and Matt Millen. Packers with the ball and a 1st down. Here's Derek Holmes, who has gained over 100 yards for the 3rd time in his career. Flag is down. And with 5:45 to go, a 1-point game. And the difference is a missed extra point by Chris Boniel.
Antonio Freeman coming back onto the field minus the pads.
How do you figure this game today with the Eagles, who haven't been able to do much offensively, battling the Packers?
Well, they hung in there and they were encouraged by the Packers. And then Coy Detmer put his big boy pants on. And he's turned a heck of a game in here.
Here's Brett Favre coming right back, and the pass is batted at the line, and a flag is down at the 15. Here are the highlights of the game. Brett Favre finding William Henderson for a short pass and a score. Jeff Graham with the first of 2 touchdown receptions from Coy Detmer. Here is the 2nd one, and wide receivers hadn't caught one all year for the Eagles. The missed extra point, and then Freeman, the 33-yard catch and run. And Boniel missing the extra point when Vaughn Booker blocked it. And the penalty was holding against the Philadelphia Eagles on this last play. It was on Mike Caldwell.
The numbers, you look at Detmer, you say, how's that a great game? Keep in mind, they had 30 yards of offense prior to their last series of the 2nd half.
And his poise has been tremendous. That's something the Eagles can build on. Meanwhile, 1st down at the 19. Brett Favre tries to get it to Derek Mays, who's returning to action today for Green Bay, and it's incomplete.
Good coverage down the field by the Philadelphia Eagles. Good coverage down the field by the Philadelphia Eagles. Took away Schrader, took away Chimura. No place to throw the ball. Tyrone Davis getting locked up on a linebacker, the matchup that they're looking for. But the underneath coverage took him away. And then Troy Vincent outside on Schrader, who's all over him. And then Chimura working on the linebacker with the safety on top. All well done and nowhere to throw the football.
2nd and 10 for the Pack on the Eagle 19. Handoff is to Derek Holmes off the right side. Gets inside the 10. And another Green Bay first down. Derek Holmes, and on a day that Dorsey Levens returned to action after missing 9 games, Holmes has been magnificent.
Watch Chimura. The key to this play right here. He's blocks down, checks one, gets on to the other, to the linebacker, and just stays with them. You don't have to overpower Caldwell. You just have to create a shield between Holmes and Caldwell. Holmes sees it and squirts through.
Derek Holmes now with a career high 140 yards and a first down for the Packers, and the 4th time he has gone over 100 yards in his career. He went over 100 against the Giants a couple of weeks ago.
They got a keeper in Derek Holmes. They get Dorsey Levens back healthy, they'll have that 1-2 punch that they had a few years ago. Remember, Levens the kind of back that got stronger as the game went on, and Derek Holmes strong from beginning to end.
Packers with nearly 100 yards more rushing than the Eagles. 1st and goal at the 9. And the handoff is to Holmes. Derek Holmes down to the 1-yard line after all is said and done.
Derek Holmes is giving this crowd something to cheer about. I mean, he's tough. Watch him. He's always going forward. Even on a good hit, he seems to fall forward. That's the sign of a physical back. Well, he's kind of running too high right here, but he's taking some shots. But watch how he finishes. Just straining every ounce of muscle fiber to get that extra yard.
2nd and goal at the 1-yard line. Holmes going over 100 yards rushing. Bill Schrader over 100 yards receiving.
Eagles aren't real good down here, are they? The worst in the National Football League.
2nd and goal and a whistle. And that will be a false start penalty against the Packers.
Prior to the snap, false start, 83, offense.
And that's Jeff Thomason, one of 3 tight ends lining up for Green Bay.
Lined up over Hugh Douglas and Marshall. And he jumped. Once you're set, you have your hand down, you can't move.
Thomason comes out of the game, and Schrader and Derek Mays come back in. So they have their passing team in there. It's 2nd and goal. The ball now placed at the 6.
They're taking Tyrone Davis and moving him outside, trying to force some coverage. He's lined up wide here. They're trying to draw coverage out. They've got Dawkins outside. That takes him away from the middle of the field.
And he's dangerous there. And here is Derek Holmes trying to cut inside. And look how he carries the defenders another couple of yards. He is stopped finally, bringing up 3rd and goal. It was Bill Johnson and then William Thomas.
There's a lot of stuff going on down there in the field. Take a good listen to this. That sounds like football. That's the best sounds that you're going to hear right there from I sound like a salesman, like the Fox sounds of the game.
I'll buy it.
I love that. Yeah, and you missed that.
3rd and goal at the 2. And the handoff, William Henderson trying to go outside, scores. William Henderson, that's his 2nd Lambeau lead. Henderson caught a touchdown pass in the 2nd quarter. And the Packers lead now 23-16.
Good adjustment by Henderson. That was designed to go off tackle. He just bounced it where no one was. Could have walked in.
Ryan Longwell for the extra point. And the kick is good, so it is now 24-16.
Keep in mind, Dick, that's 1 score and a 2-point conversion away. Detmer, guaranteed. He believes he can get that score easily. Tyrone Davis and Mark Shimura are the difference on that outside running play. And Henderson's designed to go right off tackle. He sees it and then bounces it outside. But because Tyrone Davis took away the deep part, there was no one there. And Shimura was able to cut it off to the inside. Watch Tyrone Davis. He's going to just work outside and just drive into the end zone. Shimura, heck, you can't block anybody deeper than that. You're 10 yards deep. Part of that is Troy Vincent has to keep his coverage. That's one of the hardest things in defensive football.
Well, few thought the Eagles would be even in this game with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, but they are down 24-16, as Matt says. They need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to tie. The Eagles trail 10-0 at 1 point. Took the lead for the first time at 13-10. Then the Packers took the lead. It was cut to 1, and now a little breathing room before Coy Detmer goes back to work.
They're down by 8, so that's 1 score and a 2-point conversion. You have 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, and this becomes 4 downs the whole time. So Coy Detmer can take all that vast experience of the first 3 quarters and use it here.
Allen Rossum returning the kickoff. The rookie from Notre Dame brings it out to the 25-yard line with 2:50 to go in the fourth. Well, tonight, after World's Funniest and The Simpsons, Marion Ross is the grandma you love to hate on an all-new That 70s Show. Plus, does Mulder have a secret life? Find out on an all-new episode of The X-Files. It all starts tonight at 7, 6 Central, right here on Fox.
Marion Ross was mom on Happy Days. She can't be a bad person.
Neither is Coy Detmer, I'll tell you that. The first start since the Holiday Bowl, and he had a couple of mop-up appearances early. Starting today and making the most of it. Matt says you can't tell what he's done just by his numbers. Eagles starting from the 25. And a penalty marker down. 3 of them, in fact.
Prior to the snap, false start, 72, offense.
Trey Thomas, the rookie from Florida State, 5 yards.
Playing pretty well all game long. This offensive line has been playing pretty well. You watch him right down here. Pretty close. It's not like he jumped. He just went a little bit. Actually, there was a couple of them who went right prior to the snap.
Eagles now with a 1st and 15 on their 20. Coy Detmer, pass is caught by Irving Fryer. He hasn't caught many today. Almost back to the original line of scrimmage where Pat Terrell made the hit. That'll bring up 2nd down. The clock running, nearly 2.5 minutes.
They're going to stop
remaining.
that for Pat Terrell. He's down.
We have had a litany of injuries today on both sides.
Came back in motion, just dropped right to the middle of the field. Detmer saw him perfect. And there's the hit, helmet to helmet. Fryer gets up, Terrell doesn't.
Eagles lost 2 tight ends earlier in the game. They lost Dunn and Cincino. Several of the Packers were hurt, including Antonio Freeman, who came back. And the latest of these is Pat Terrell. Now Irving Fryer is a little shaky.
There have been some pretty good hits here in this game today.
There's Freeman, who had his jaw x-rayed in civilian clothes, talking with Derek Mays, who came back today after missing 6 games. And Matt's point is that the Packers getting all the pieces back for their final drive. They want to host a wild card game. That's their goal right now. Right now, the Vikings and the Falcons have clinched playoff berths. Atlanta winning today to do so. 49ers and Giants play tomorrow. The Cowboys have a bit of time off after losing to Minnesota Thanksgiving Day. And the Cardinals, Saints, and the Bucks fighting for the last playoff berth. Here's Robert Brooks, did not suit up today.
Well, their starting wide receivers now are out of uniform. Robert Brooks and Antonio Freeman. Good news is you see Antonio Freeman on the sideline flapping his gums with Derek Mays. That's a good sign. If you have anything wrong with your jaw,
you're flapping.
You ain't flapping.
Kerry Cooks, number 45, has replaced Pat Terrell at safety. The Eagles have brought in Dietrich Gels, their speedster, replacing Irving Fryer. 2nd and 10. Jeff Graham comes in motion to the line. And the screen pass intended for Staley, nothing there, and the Packers played it well.
Well, now it's the time of the game. Things heat up. Your great players have to make plays. Reggie White can smell it's time to make a play. That's a screen to the left side, but you could see he's kind of tuned his engine up a little bit. It's always been the mark of Reggie White, to sense the time to make the play. Remember the Super Bowl a few years ago?
Right.
When something had to be made, he made it.
And, of course, the ability to put the pressure on in the 4th quarter down the stretch.
Something he couldn't do a year ago with a bad back.
3rd and 10 on the 25. And down he goes. Keith McKenzie got there first. And the 2nd sack of the game by the Green Bay Packers.
Keith McKenzie came from the right side. It was meet me at the quarterback between McKenzie down here and Reggie White up here. It's Browning and McKenzie running the stunt. He gets there first. Actually, Coy Detmer puts the brakes on, doesn't see McKenzie, sees Reggie White, stops, and then McKenzie gets it.
And now the Eagles want to get this kickoff before the 2-minute warning, and they're not going to be able to do so. They still have 2 timeouts remaining, but right now the mountain is getting a little higher for the Philadelphia Eagles in their upset bid. 2 minutes to go. The Packers lead 24-6. The broadcast associates are Clark Pierce and Adrian Hassenmeyer. And the technical producer is Dean Walker, and a fine job by Dean and his fine crew today. The pregame show was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Packers with a first down on their 35-yard line. 2 tight ends. And will look to use up as much of the clock as possible. Derek Holmes, the running back, gets to the 40-yard line, and the Eagles call a timeout. Well, coming up next week, minute 46 remaining, and the Eagles down to their last timeout.
Remember, they had to take a timeout on that 4th and 1 when Hugh Douglas couldn't get off in time, so they wasted a timeout there, although that was a situation where it could have been a pivotal momentum swing.
There's Mark Shimura being taken off the field. His ankle's in ice. Maybe close to 10 players who have been injured in this game. 2nd down and 5. Again, it's Derek Holmes, and he gets the first down.
That'll be the game, Dick.
Yep. Eagles don't even bother calling the timeout. And the point you brought up about having to call the timeout, ultimately the Eagles did stop the Packers on 4th down.
They did. They'll take the timeout here. But with a first down, this one's history.
And I'll tell you, Ray Rhodes, Eagles came in, fewest points in the league, shut out 3 times, including their last game against the Giants, with a major obstacle in the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field. And they gave them all they could handle today. They were leading by a score of 13-10 in the 3rd quarter before the Packers went to work and ready to seal this one up.
Well, their offensive line played pretty well, but the biggest story has been Coy Detmer. Detmer gave him some poise and some decision making, and the ball came out quick. He was the difference for the Philadelphia Eagles. Today, he's what they needed all season long, because they really had nothing to work with offensively. And I thought Bill Musgrave called himself a pretty good game.
Yes, I think the Eagles, if you want to be proud of a loss, and it's been that kind of a tough year, challenged the Green Bay Packers to the hilt today, and Detmer is going to figure. Brett Favre threw 2 touchdown passes today, threw in 2 interceptions as well, but went over the 3,000 mark for the 7th straight year. Only Marino and Elway have done that before. And the main thing for the Green Bay Packers is that they will win their 8th game in 12 starts And with the schedule relatively favorable for them the rest of the way, they're looking to run the table. They think 12-4, extremely possible. They want to get momentum going into the playoffs, have home field advantage for the first round, and then take their chance.
They're going to have to play better than they did today. They were out of sync. Favre threw for over 300. Derek Holmes was a big plus for him. The offensive line opened some nice holes. That was a plus for him. And then Schrader had himself a big game. But Derek Holmes really was he's what opened everything up. They've not been balanced offensively. But Derek Holmes gave them balance today.
He had a career high 163 yards and 26 carries. Also caught 5 passes. So that's 216 yards for the former Buffalo Bill in total yards today. Schrader, career high 128 yards on 5 catches. The clock will run down. Mike Holmgren will shake hands with Ray Rhodes, who worked for him for a couple of years here in Green Bay. They were together in San Francisco as assistants with the 49ers. And the final score here at Lambeau Field, the Green Bay Packers defeat the Philadelphia Eagles 24-16. The Packers now 8-4. The Eagles drop to 2-10. We'll be back to Lambeau Field with a final word in just a moment. Now the NFC playoff picture. The Vikings and Falcons have clinched playoff berths. The 49ers play the Giants tomorrow. Green Bay now 8-4 on the year, tied with Dallas, but Dallas, they win the NFC East, would have a higher seed than the Green Bay Packers, and a battle royal the rest of the way for the final playoff spot. And the Dr. Pepper play of the game, and it was the touchdown pass from Brett Favre to Antonio Freeman that put the Packers ahead to stay.
Nice ball by Favre, nice catch, and a poor job by Troy Vincent of not making the play. Like Favre had himself a big day, but Derek Holmes was the difference in the football game, because Favre has had big days before, but they've been one-dimensional. With Holmes, they had balance, and it made him better.
And, of course, Reggie White, who is expected to retire after this year against his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles. A hard-fought game. Last year, the Eagles won 10-9 in Philadelphia. This year, however, the ghost of Vince Lombardi blessed the Green Bay Packers, who win a big one. It wasn't pretty, but they win it. So, for Matt Millen, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Lambeau Field. The final score, the Packers 24, the Eagles 16. Stay tuned for World's Funniest right after these messages.
This has been a presentation of Fox Sports, where legends are made, where champions are crowned, where dreams come true. Fox Sports, home of Super Bowl 30.